So kindness and being present in the moment, not letting your mind get outside of where you actually are, because this is the point of power. I am present here, and whatever shows up for me is what I'm called to. Life is happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need, I mean, I said to somebody last night, I said, you know, they tell us that there's 7 billion people on this planet, but I'm not sure that's true. Tell yourself the truth about what is your experience.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have? What do you have evidence of in your experience?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much more available with what we're actually, there's so much more change and awareness available with what we're actually experiencing, rather than basing our next action on the fact that there's 7 billion people. There's a, right? I mean, you're sort of saying the power is right here.
The power is right here, and the reality is right here, and who you're being to yourself will be the way in which you respond to what's happening, and and your responsibility is always right here, right now. And right here, right now may include making a post on Facebook, right? It may include calling a friend. You have to be present with yourself to become aware of what's authentically moving in you, not a knee-jerk reaction to some news or from some story, but here, now, I am here. Yeah.
And even if we're caught in the knee-jerk reaction, it would seem to me for sure that it's just, many of us, I think we just need to admit that we're afraid.
Absolutely.
You know, and powerless.
It's scary.
I mean, that's the name of the game.
Yeah, it's a scary time.
And I think just dropping into just that is
right.
such a huge shift from a false sense of a pushed identity that says, I'm in control,
Right.
I'm going to be angry, I know what the facts are.
Yeah.
Anything that leaves us with this false sense of security, it's a weakening approach.
Well, it is, and the dynamic of what you're suggesting is to feel what I'm feeling, to even to notice what's coming up in my mind about the future, because fear is always about the future, guilt is about the past. So when you're dropping into that and you feel it, you have the opportunity, and sometimes you may be able to take it, some of us may, you have the opportunity to know yourself as the one who's aware that there's fear.
Yeah, that's the
big
ask.
Yeah, and that's the opening into who I am,
Yep.
and that I am present here, and there's fear, right? It's a creation. It you know, it's like the Bible says, everything comes to pass, right? But what doesn't pass is what we have resistance to. So typically we're going to be resistant to fear, right? But it's just what it is. It's like, and the minute that you're with it, and you're with it as the awareness of it, it already does not have the impact.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just sort of funny, but not really. Peace and the resolution to the issues coming up, it's just, it would seem that it's, well, Wayne Dyer said there's a spiritual solution to every problem. You know, this is it, and it's such a small, simple thing, and yeah, it's kind of woo-woo, but just to take a step back from who you think you are when we're identifying with our thinking and our fear, it's just a little step back, and to notice who's noticing. And that freedom, I mean, I practice that just at the direction of another teacher, you know, even for 4 seconds, 5 times a day. You're suddenly finding yourself with more space, because the truth is we're not our thinking. I mean, it's the truth. It's not a made-up exercise to relieve ourselves of anything. Yeah.
Yeah, the spiritual solution is to realize that the problem was created by your thinking.
Yeah.
And that without that thought, I am here now. Without that thought, I am open to what's in front of me to do.
Right.
I am open to my heart. I am open to your heart.
Right.
I'm open to connection. Right.
Which offers a lot more presence of mind than the upset space.
Right.
You know, if I can just use myself as an example, that is certainly true.
Yeah. Well, the idea, this has been a kind of a theme of mine in the recent months working with people, is that if you really get that that the problem is not out here, it's in your mind, and there may be something to do out here, like figure out the money or figure out the relationship, but it's not a problem except the way you are thinking about it.
Yep.
Yeah, and so that's a spaciousness that can open up, like you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I can just hear people arguing, but this is a problem. This is a serious thing, and here's the reasons why. Here's the long list of economic reasons why this is a problem.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess maybe you're asking just take a little bit, just take a piece of it.
Well, just see that if you can see it as the creation that it is, like it's the long list of bills or the inability to pay or whatever, and that is like an object, right? That's a thought pattern around scarcity or money. It's like an object, and you put it aside, right? And then if you think of it as what is in front of you to do, without the thinking like, oh my God, this is a disaster, what am I going to do for my family, this is the worst thing that ever happened, should I try to take bankruptcy? Without that story going on, then you're just a person sitting at a table, lining up what's possible, maybe calling a bank.
With an open mind.
Yeah, without the stress of your thinking about it, because it's the story you're suffering with. The reality is you can either pay it or you can't.
Right. And when we're suffering with that story, that's in a sense a creative engine.
Absolutely is. Absolutely is. And it will limit your experience because it creates stress. And so whatever shows up, what possibility is seen through the lens of that stress. Yeah, the mind running the show is scary.
Yep.
But it is also an addiction, so.
Right. It's the sea we swim in, as you have said.
Yeah, the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was addictive, and we're still eating it, right?
Yeah, we have trucks coming in.
That's right.
As we speak.
Have yours.
Wow. That was a nicely well-rounded subject.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? The possibilities within that we have on our own behalf to be kind, to know that for ourselves, and then to offer that, to not be caught in our mind in fear and the idea that there's something about what's going on that's a problem. Because with that, we relieve our mind of that, and we can do that by seeing it as a creation. At least some of us can, and more of us can. It's like it's the story. If I can put that story aside, I can look at everything that are facts, and they're not wonderful. We're not trying to put sugar over shit here. They're not wonderful, but we can see what needs to be done. Without the story, there isn't suffering. There's just what needs to happen, and we're there, and we're. If it's ours, we can create an opportunity out of the problem.
Nice. The perceived problem. I love that when you say the creation and you put it. It's like this.
Yeah, like if I came to you and said, Elizabeth, I've got this accounting and these bills to pay, but what I want you to do is I want you to just take it and let me know what I should do about it. And I don't have any story about it. You can do that for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I used to do this practice occasionally years ago where I would have an issue and I would be so caught up I couldn't see kind of clearly, what was happening there. And I would pretend that I was another person who I had a lot of respect for.
Yeah.
That I felt, I really liked them. I felt like they were confident. And I just pretended, actually I remember I pretended that I was counseling them. Or they were counseling, something like that. Anyway, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You just set it over to a place where you don't have the confusion around it.
Right. And what this points to is that who I am is the awake awareness in which everything, whether I name it a problem or I name it the happiest day of my life, which everything takes place in that. When I see this problem, like whether it's the pandemic or the accounts, the bills, whatever, the relationship, when I see it as an object that's showing up there, I, as awareness, can be in a different relationship to it. If I believe that that's me, that I'm defined by not being able to pay my bills, or by being sick, or by being anything, because I am not that. You can't be what you're not. You can fake it, which is what we've all done with our asserted identities. I'm not good enough, or I'm the best.
Right. Or I'm...
Whichever end of the stick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the truth is we're not that. That's the part we've been playing.
That's on the polarity.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So in this virtual reality game, we can begin to know ourselves as the awareness of it, and that we can deal with whatever shows up in it. We're totally capable.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that it comes out that we have extra money or that anything. It's not, because when you know who you really are, you're not dependent on external circumstances to create your experience. And that's a high bar, but that's what being awake is, and all you're awake to is your true nature as awareness.
Mm.
And you've got an identity, and you have things you call friends, family, lovers, and it's the fun of a 3D reality without the downside, right?
Yeah.
Awareness loves playing here. Yeah.
Mm. Wow, nice.
Good one.
Yeah, should
So
we?
glad we had this time.
Me too.
It's probably as much as they're going to watch, don't you think?
Probably. Actually, we're looking over there. Polly Summerlin, consciousness coach.
Yeah.
Thanks.